Previously on the last episode.
Segment 1, Episode 8. Alrighty.
What's everybody? Whoa.
Retake. Oh my god.
Go on.
This is in the bloopers.
What's everybody?
Hoosier. Hey everybody, welcome back to episode 9 of Hoosier Backcountry. As always, I'm with my two Goon Ride best friends, Cohen and Seth, and a special guest this week, Mr. Shawn Paulin. Welcome to the show, Shawn.
Thanks for having me, guys.
So, Shawn, I heard you're the Whitetail Assassin. You care to elaborate on that a little bit?
Well, I think that's what Cohen named me, but I never considered myself that. There's a lot more people killing a lot bigger deer than I do and more consistent, but I've just been lucky a couple times.
Yeah. Now, did you drop a big one this year?
He wasn't the one that I was after, but it was kind of a frustration type thing, and he ended up scoring 151, but
Nice.
I couldn't complain. It was about 30 minutes after the one I was after got shot, and they sent me a picture of it. So, but I had my opportunities at him. I missed him, and
Same woods?
same woods,
Okay.
basically, and stuff. We got about 400 acres there on two sides of a road that
Nice.
deer kind of travel back and forth on.
Good,
So,
good. Now, was that bow or archery or firearm one?
I missed him with the bow,
Ooh.
but the one I ended up taking, I shot him with the gun about 70 yards,
Nice, nice. So y'all tagged out then, or any does?
I couldn't tell you the last time I actually shot a doe. Trying to let my boy do all those,
Mhm.
So I'm gonna try to get him back out at least for the late doe season with the rifle and stuff.
Yep. And that was the shout out Cohen did last week on his first buck.
Yeah, killed a 7-pointer, probably about 165 pounds.
Nice.
He was excited.
Nice.
So.
Throwing his hands up in the air. Hell yeah.
Oh yeah. I actually, when we were blood trailing it, we were following along, and I actually seen the deer before he did, so I pulled out the phone real quick and started recording, and he got about 10 yards. When he first started looking at it, he looked like Rocky walking across there, hands up in the air, just celebrating stuff. It was great. I told him, I said that'd be a deer you never forget,
Mm-hmm.
and I won't ever forget it either. I mean, I was shaking just as bad as he was in the blind. It was awesome.
Nice.
Now
nice.
I want to hear a couple stories. I know I've heard them in the past, but I know you guys haven't. What was your 2018 buck, the biggest one you've killed so far? Or which one was that?
It would have been 2017.
Okay, let's
Yeah.
start there.
All right. Little farm. I mean, it's crazy how much this farm has probably got 10 acres of timber on one side and then a 5-acre thicket in a different patch. And it's just one of those things that I'll hunt that farm and not see a deer 5-6 sits, and then I will see a good one.
Mhm.
But it's just a matter of the right pressure and stuff. And that deer I'd actually had pictures of, and I think I had some in 15, 16, and then I estimated him 5.5 in 17 when I shot him. So
Dang. Nice.
But-
And how big was he?
he was just under 189, gross non-typical. He ended up netting just under 177.
Yeah.
So he is a net booner. So.
Yeah.
Yep. Nice
But-
wall mount, I'm sure.
Oh yeah. He they and matter of fact, the neighbors, they after I posted pictures of him, I'm friends with them. They actually sent me a video of him on a trail cam, and I mean, he looked like a cow walking through the woods. I mean, he field dressed around 244. So he was a beast.
That's a stud. So safe to say you took some Tylenol when you got home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, luckily, where he fell, I was able to drive the truck right to
Oh,
it.
really?
Yeah. Well, when you got this little patch that's surrounded by fields, it's pretty easy to
Well,
drive
yeah,
to.
that's
Right,
true.
right.
That's true. Well, before we get too deep into these deer topics, because Sean's gonna educate us. Tanner, what we got?
Well, actually, Seth's the
Okay,
man
Seth, what we
this
got?
week because he secured my favorite beer. So I'll let Seth kind of talk about it.
All right, so this is a Texas-only beer, brewed in Texas. I think Anheuser-Busch actually owns it, but you can only buy it in Texas.
Surrounding Oklahoma, you can.
Right, yeah. So Tanner got me on it. I think you went out of town.
Whenever I was stationed out in Oklahoma, I came across this beer. Everybody knows I like to drink different beers for the region and everything. Came across this. This is by far my favorite. So I think when I left the base to drive home, I brought like 3 or 4 cases of it with me.
Right. Yeah, he brought it back, and I think he gave us all one. And I didn't drink it. Yeah, I didn't drink it for a while. And I came home one day after a long day of work, and was out of beer. So like, screw it. Beer's beer, right? At that point. So I cracked her open and fell in love. It's smooth, just a perfect taste. At least I think so. Perfect taste. I mean, it's just a good all-around beer. And have a guy that works in Texas. I'm working with him now, and I told him as kind of a joke, more or less, like, hey, next time you go home, grab me some and I'll pay you back. That was back in turkey season. And then Monday, he's like, hey, I got your beer. I was in heaven.
So how do you pronounce this?
It's Ziegenbach.
He said Ziegen. I thought it was Ziegen, but he said Ziegenbach.
Ziegen. Basically, just look for a goat with the top hat. That's its symbols. A goat with the top hat.
Really?
And underneath it says "kinda legendary."
Really?
Dude, best beer out there.
It's not bad.
You're kind of a candy ass when it comes to beer.
I'll say it is better than what was the last week stuff?
The cream ale.
Yeah, it's better than that. I kind of feel like a man drinking.
Which
it.
you're talking 2 different kinds of beer, though.
Oh yeah.
That was an ale, obviously.
Dude, beer's beer, man.
This is an amber
Beer.
bock.
Come on, Cohen. You're gonna give me an aneurysm here. No, this is a nice Texas amber. If you're ever out that way, Shawn, just like I said, pick up some. I'll pay you back. Double it. I don't care.
Definitely. Matter of fact, I was just talking to a guy the other night. We were talking about scheduling a Texas trip.
Oh, there we go.
So hopefully we can get that accomplished in the next year or two.
Look at that. Sean's gonna go Texas hunting and
You going for turkey?
Beer hunting.
No, it'll be a deer hunt.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I need to get 4 toms there.
Is that what I don't even know.
Good
So,
God.
You can get 4 toms in Texas.
Really?
Yep. My stepdad went. 6-8 years ago, I think, and I think he got 3, but he shot 2 with 1 round. Waited till they lined up
really?
and dropped them both.
Can't beat
So,
that,
yeah.
dude.
Nice.
Well, 2 for 1.
Mm-hmm.
Around the table, Seth, beer, good.
Yes,
Tanner.
for sure.
My favorite.
Sean.
definitely for an amber, it's probably the best one I've had.
Yeah, it's not bad.
You
It's
know,
pretty good.
it's I am a Busch Light guy, but I will drink a Modelo or
Ooh, yes.
I'll drink a Corona every now and then. But
Mhm.
Oh, we got to watch the Corona these days.
yeah, no kidding. But I keep trying to get another 2 weeks off work, so I try to drink it as much as possible.
Are we all?
That's hilarious. This stuff's pretty good. I mean, the other one, like I would drink it again. This one, I'd definitely drink again.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Now, how much is this?
It's actually
I can't remember.
it
It's like I
wasn't
said,
no more than $15, $14-15. I think
For
for
a 12-pack?
12-pack.
Yeah.
I mean,
That's
it's
not
bad.
horrible, I guess. Not for beers these days, because the one you got last week, what'd you say?
For 4 16-ounce cans, it was $10. But that's a
ridiculous.
specialty. You know what I mean?
I get that, but that's crazy, dude.
Mhm.
Man, just drink
There's
it.
actually a beer out there I want to get for us one time, but we're all gonna have DDs. I saw it over in Texas, or not Texas, Terre Haute. I think it was 16%.
Oh my.
One beer, like one 12-ounce, is like $15.
Whoa.
Wow.
It's gonna put some hair on our chest.
That's like drinking. That's like drinking whiskey, dude.
Yeah,
I know. I want to try it. I just want to try one.
whiskey flavored beer.
Right, dude. That's fantastic. So, Seth, you got a nice hat on.
Thank you. You know
Yeah.
who it's from?
Tell me, dude.
Discount Hunting Shop.
Oh man.
yeah. Yeah,
Thank
dude, they
you.
have some awesome merch. These hats are off the
Oh
hook
yeah,
awesome.
for sure.
They hooked us up with shirts, stickers, hats.
Big thank you. Big thank
yes.
you on that.
Big thank you. Go to check out their shop. It's on Instagram. They do have a Facebook, but check out their shop. They have tons of gear. Now I was told they do sell bows, but you'd have to talk to them off of you have to direct message them because you can't sell bows and stuff on Facebook and Instagram. So they do sell other things besides what's on their shop. You just got to get a hold of them. But they have, 4 different kinds of binoculars, I think.
Yeah.
Oh, I was
Camo.
looking ahead at the turkey decoys.
Yeah.
A lot of really good quality turkey decoys. A lot of different styles. 2 hens, Tom on him. Just all types of things. So,
Yeah. They got some good stuff on there. I've been
Yep.
checking out. Like I said it last week, the loopholes on there.
Yeah.
Woo!
Yeah.
Thank you.
But and the good thing is they're local.
yeah.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
Indiana boys, good dudes. I mean, do anything for you. Really cool. Kind of, guess you call a partnership, sponsorship, working with each other.
Yeah, for sure.
I think they're going to start giving us discounts for our listeners. So listeners, if you're listening, listening.
Stay tuned.
Yeah, you might get a discount for the discount shop.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And actually, I actually went on there after the last podcast and checked out their stuff. I'm a scent lock guy, and that's what they carry: a scent lock and scent blocker.
Yep.
I mean, if try to beat that deer's nose as best I can. I mean, that's what I do.
Mm-hmm.
And definitely check out their products. They got the full line right there.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So tell us a little bit about I know you were like a scent control freaking maniac. Tell me more.
Well, generally, of course, everything I do, sitting here in the garage and stuff, you look over and the Cohen's got the scent crusher closet,
Yes,
which I got the same model. I have the bag, the duffel bag that I carry with me. Of course, I run the thing in the vehicle while I'm going, the Ozone Go or whatever, just depending. But yeah, it starts with about a week before or a month before season. All my clothes, whether it's work clothes, whatever, gets washed scent free. I mean, because I don't know if I'm going to go to work and then hunt after work or not. So if I wear a uniform, a bad thing, I got to wear a uniform at work. So when I get done at work, a lot of times I'll slip into a hunt, and majority of the time that whole month I'm scent free showers the whole month before season 2.
Yeah.
Just in case I got to stop and check some, trail cameras or something. Then everything's stored in, I wash it scent free, and then everything's stored in totes, like my boots and all my gear, my bow, I spray down, store it in the case. But then I keep everything with me, and it's in totes the whole time. It never leaves the vehicle until after season.
Yeah.
I'm already tagged out as far as my buck goes here in Indiana. I still have all my gear. Just in case we get out for go on a doe hunt or something.
Right. Right. So what else do you use? Oh my God.
Like what spray do you use? Do you spray down at all?
It's funny because I've went back and forth on all of them, and I've used Dead Downwind. I've used Scent Away, Wild Game Research, the, Scent Killer. But I switched to the Code Blue one.
Okay.
And it's actually, I think Michael Waddell kind of pushes it and stuff, but it I don't know. I don't know if it makes a difference which one you use, but I like that one. And a funny story, this year, I was hunting a deer and noticed a pattern to him and stuff, and like I said, I do my full scent regimen and stuff. And then this hunt was on the 17th of October. And I'll tell you, I never had a deer all season blow at me. I mean, never spooked. I mean, the whole season. And I go in after this deer. Well, I'd refilled a lot of my containers because I was getting low after, 16 days or so of hunting and stuff. So I refill my containers and I spray down. I kind of noticed it a little bit, not really, paying attention, because I'll end up spraying my face, inevitable. I don't mean to, but a lot of times I will. And so I get in the stand and I'm sitting there, and the wind's out of a southeast direction, and I'm hunting this bedding area, so to speak. I'm probably about 100 yards downwind of this bedding area. And I figure with that south wind, that's where that buck he's bedded, and he's coming up out of this draw right there to me. And about 5 o'clock here come this little buck, and then here come this 170-inch buck up out of this draw, right? Almost, he was about there 50 yards, and him and that little buck started sparring and everything and just playing around. And I had this doe get a little antsy, kind of upwind of me, and stuff, or actually downwind of me the way she was over in the corner of the field. But so I kind of, I run a nose onyx when I'm in the tree and everything. So I kind of turned it towards her, just kind of settle her down, which I've done that before, and it seems to work. But I mean, you just never know. Mm-hmm. But then the little buck, he started my way, and he gets about 40 yards, and this buck behind him is about 45, and they're just coming straight at me. I mean, there's no no broadside opportunities or anything. Of course, I'm not going to put a arrow on a deer like, coming straight at me. And
we appreciate that.
Right. And
for sure.
So I'm sitting there and I'm ready, and I'm just thinking, man, this deer's got to come 15 yards or 25 yards. If he stays on the trail, it Y's right there about 25 yards from my stand. He's going to make a decision. And about that time, I felt the wind just kind of swirl, and which I've had swirling winds before, and they'll perk up, but normally it's enough. They don't get enough of you if you're pretty good that you might get away with it. But for some reason, these two bucks just did not like it at all. You've seen their nose go straight up in the air and just kind of look around, and they kind of whirled, and he kind of leaped about 3 times and went into some thick cover, and I seen him walk off. It wasn't enough that he was like, oh my God, I'm in the next county. He just kind of walked off and down the ridge, but I never did see that buck again at that spot. That was on the 17th. Ran trail cameras, ended up switching to a cell camera in that area. But then I ended up on the 30th. I was hunting about 200 yards south of there. I was hunting just inside the woods, and there's a field right there. It's surrounded. It's got 2 county roads on, one on the south side and one on the west side. And for some reason, it's just weird how a buck will do it. But he, at 5 o'clock, there's still 2 hours of daylight left. Here he comes strolling down the center of that field. And he was probably 100 yards from me. And I just picked up the grunt call and just blew it a couple times. And he didn't really pay attention to it. And I just hit it a couple more times. Well, the 3rd time he did that, he looked up at me and he come my way. And I thought I was 20 yards off the field edge inside the woods when I ranged that morning or that afternoon, and man, he come right there, and he was he was 10 yards out from the field edge, and I drew back, and he was trying to get downwind of the sound. He was going to circle downwind of me.
Yeah.
And, I knew, especially after that, last time I encountered him and him smelling me and stuff, I thought, man, and he, like I said, I thought he was 30. I shot right underneath him, and he ended up being 36 yards. Got my arrow out of the ground. There was 1 piece of hair in the broadhead. That was it.
Mm-hmm.
And then, and the funny thing was I missed a 150 a few years back with the bow, and I was more disappointed about missing that 150 than I was that 170.
Really?
And the funny thing was he ran back to the north, and then I had about 135-inch 9-pointer come out of the thicket, and he walked right underneath me. I videotaped him on my phone and everything. He goes out in the field, and there was another 130-inch 8-pointer out in the field. So I'm watching both of them. He's kind of bristled up. Well, then here come this 170-inch back, coming back across the field right there in front of me about 80 yards, and walk that 9-pointer out of the field and then come back by me, and then that was October 30th. On November 2nd, I was
Halloween hunts, man.
Right.
I love
exactly.
Halloween hunts.
Exactly.
Yeah, especially that full moon, I
Yeah.
know you're a full moon fanatic, aren't you?
I tend to follow the moon guide,
Yeah.
So to speak, but I usually take a vacation during the first week or so of November, 2 weeks. This year I was lucky. I had 3 full weeks going into gun season, and I'll hunt every day.
Yeah.
It don't matter what the moon says. You got, if you're on vacation, you got to hunt.
Oh yeah.
You
for
just
sure,
gotta, you
for
just gotta
sure.
hunt smart and don't burn out your areas.
Yep.
On November 2nd, I went to one of my rut stands, and I was sitting there, seen 3 or 4 bucks, typical morning, and about 8:15 or so, this buck come down with a doe, 60 yards, got into a treetop. They just had the farm timbered. We didn't even know if we were going to be able to hunt it this year. So they were in there, they got in this treetop, and 4 or 5 bucks come down there checking out that doe, and he walked every one of them up different directions, but never walked my direction.
Yeah.
I had to watch him for over an hour, so it was pretty entertaining. That's for sure.
They know how to play with it.
Oh yeah.
Sure.
And then
Hey everybody, it's T-Bone, and welcome back. Had some slight technical difficulties, even though we say that every week.
What's new?
We did.
What's new?
We're
You-
amateurs.
I mean, is that a Tobisha computer we're using over here? I
Yeah.
mean,
China,
Toshiba.
Japan.
Toshiba. Legend of the Toshiba. Anyways, we're gonna get some American-made stuff, so this would quit breaking out on us. But anyways, Shawn, Buck fighting off. Was that
Yeah,
the
yeah.
part? Buck was fighting off 4 others, right?
Yeah, we kind of went off on the wrong direction there. We were kind of talking about scent control, and I talked about this, 170-inch class buck, but back to the scent control problem. When the first time I seen that buck on October 17th was probably the first deer that I've noticed win me in probably 5 years. I mean, without a doubt, when they turned and went the other way, I knew something was up. And then I let that area rest a couple of days, and I went back in to hunt him. Got back in the tree, and I actually I run ozonics quite a bit, and I'd actually got my new unit. So the second time I went in after this buck on the same stand, I actually took 2 ozonics with me and put them up in the stand. I don't know.
It's Stuart Little over there is playing the guitar.
There was a guitar just went off.
Yeah, they went bing.
Oh, that's good, dude. We're good. You're good.
Stuart Little's over there jamming.
I heard ring. I'm like, oh shit. That sounds like a $600 guitar hitting the ground. Go on, Shawn. Sorry.
So I'm all freaking out about my scent control, and I ended up putting 2 ozonics up in the tree with me, and I had one blowing downwind, and then I had the other one blowing towards the direction I thought the buck was going to come from. And I actually, when I was sitting there, the first deer that come up out of that draw was probably a 145-inch 9-pointer, and he come up out of there, and he got about 40 yards from me, which I wasn't planning on shooting him. But same situation, the wind kind of swirled just a little bit, and he caught me, and he turned around, went back down towards the bedding area. That was the last time I seen him. So all week, different stands. I mean, I was talking to a buddy of mine, and I mean, trying to figure it out. And I had does win me, little freaking spikes, fawns. I mean, everything was looking up in the tree, finding me after they'd win me. So I went home and rewashed everything. I mean, I took my backpack out, scrubbed everything down, scent control, got it all dried, and got back and got all new, scent control spray. Well, I had a bottle in my backpack that, usually I'll go through like 6 or 7 refills in a season pretty easy. And I use it religiously, just in case that wind swirl or whatever. Well, when I got up in the tree that second time, or after I cleaned everything, the first thing I sprayed was my face, and man, it just had an odor to it that I was like, man, I opened that bottle up, and there was like a mold in the bottle. So that night when I got home, I went through all my sprays that were already open.
How pissed were you?
Oh, I was really mad. and the bad thing is I rotate everything, and usually at the end of the season, I don't have anything left. And if I do, I'm using it during when I'm putting out trail cameras or something to get rid of it to go into the new system. But I had it was either dead downwind, which I knew had some old stuff of that, and then I had some new scent away. Which one it was, I'm not exactly sure. But both of them, like the dead downwind had actually like a different color to it. It wasn't a clear, but it didn't have any mold in the bottle. But I had 2 bottles that had mold in them. And once I got rid of that, I haven't had a doe or any deer win me since that day.
Really? And that was with you running 2 ozonics in the tree?
With me, 2 ozonics in the tree.
That's insane.
And just had a little bit of wind swirl.
Yeah.
And that buck smelled me.
That just goes to show you the nose on these animals.
Oh, yeah.
It's crazy.
What you're trying to do is get that deer to think you're a lot further away than what you are. When he smells you, maybe, the good thing is with the loggers and stuff in there, they had a lot of human, activity in that area, but I think it was just too much then. But when you can just if he just gets a little bit real quick and it kind of quits blowing to him, sometimes he'll just kind of put his, head down, or he'll look for you for 5 or 6 minutes. And if he doesn't see anything, doesn't smell anything again, sometimes he'll put his head down and continue on his direction he was going.
And that's something that I've never heard before that I really like. What you said, you're not going to totally eliminate your odor, but you want to trick the buck to make him feel like you're farther than what you are.
Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense. Like, I've always thought you've got to totally eliminate 100% your scent. You can't. You're breathing. You're
Right.
Farting. You know.
Yeah. Your oils are all. Your body's always going off an odor, so you're never going to be 100%. But it's tricking their nose to think, oh, he's a mile.
He's
away,
on the other side
yeah,
of this ridge line. I
yeah,
can continue walking. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, it's crazy to think though, because I know you kind of swear by the ozonics. I know you talked to me about an instance where you had some deer that were kind of getting skittish, and you clicked that ozonics on and it calmed them down, and you were like sold,
Right.
Then you know, but then you get something like so simple, like mold in the bottle, that gives you just an odor, you know. Then you're still running 2 ozonics, but it's still not enough.
Right.
That's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
You
Dude,
know?
I'm definitely checking my bottle every hunt now.
Yeah.
And honestly, I never would have thought of that.
Yeah, I wouldn't have.
Right. Like I said, it was the only thing that was left. You know, I mean, that was crazy to think it was that. But, you know, like I said, I went through and washed, scrubbed everything one night. And, I mean, I was texting buddies, you know, trying to get an idea of what's going on. I'm like, it's never been like this.
So the moral of the story is spray your face.
Right.
Yeah, right.
You know,
So I've never ran an ozonics. I've been wanting to.
right.
You ran 2, and you say you turned them, you know, towards a deer or a direction,
Like
So
downwind and upwind, right?
So how's that all?
Well, a lot of times the bad thing is when you're up in a tree, it's hard to put that ozonics where it's blowing directly downwind, you know, because of the shape of the tree or the way your stand is. But you tend to, you know, put it over your head where it's kind of blanketing your scent downwind. Now, how much it works, you know, I don't know if it works different if you got like a 30-mile-an-hour wind versus a 5-mile-an-hour. You know, I just try to where it drapes over me and maybe drops my scent right to the ground right there. But you know, I've had instances where, you know, I've had deer downwind of me and they get kind of a little leery, or they might be off my wind side just a little bit where they're just catching enough of that scent cone, that I will turn it and like point it directly towards them. In a few minutes, they kind of calm down.
Mm-hmm.
You know, matter of fact, that the one farm that I hunt where I shot the booner, he before that he came out, there was actually a couple little bucks come out, and they kind of got a little skittish. But what was happening was my scent was blowing to this tree row and bouncing off of it and coming back. It was like making a big swirl there in that eddy.
Mm-hmm.
So instead of having the ozonics pointed, you know, directly downwind, I had to turn it a little bit, and they kind of calmed down. They ended up walking off, and he come out probably 30 minutes later, which I know if they would have stayed there and smelled me, they would have ruined the hunt.
All right.
So
Nice.
Interesting.
So Cohen mentioned also you like the moon phase hunt. Now, I mean, are you a moon phase hunt guy? Cold snap combination? I mean, what do you think from your experience impacts them the most that you like to hunt on?
Well, for one, you know, just having the limited amount of time off I hunt every chance I got. You know, I try to hunt through the wind directions that are good for me. You know, a lot of times when you hunt a wind direction that's good for you, the deer aren't going to move that way because it's not good for them.
Yeah.
I mean, but you know, it's one of those things. I don't have a lot of my stands that are deep down in the woods. Most of mine are within 20 yards of a field edge where I can slip in, slip out. A lot of times it's field edges that the deer aren't feeding too much in. You know, there's other places that they're going to. You know, I might catch them coming by me, but the time I get down on the stand, they're already out of that field. You know, so I try not to spook any deer, you know, as much as possible, but sometimes it's just inevitable.
Yeah.
But as far as the red moon, you know, a lot of people follow the moon guide. My 2 biggest bucks were within 4 minutes of the red moon time phase, they said.
That's with the Adam Hayes moon guide,
That's
right?
the Adam Hayes moon guide, you know, and I just try to make sure if there is a red moon week, I try to hunt, you know, every day that week. I might take a day off here or there on a week prior. But there again, if you get a cold front, especially in October, I mean, you got to go. You just can't.
You can't
know,
pass that up.
You can't stay home and blow leaves, you know. I mean, that's the thing. You got to do those leaves on days that it's 80 degrees.
Right. Yeah.
You know, when you got a 20-degree temperature change, you know the deer are going to be up moving.
Right. So what's your take on October of this year? Because in the past, like last year, it was 90 degrees the opening weekend. What was your tactic going in this year with that cold front that moved in?
It was super big cold front. I remember.
Yeah. It was super big. I really didn't change too much. I just made sure I hunted more on those cold, you know, cooler days and stuff. And what was really sad was things were really getting so good there at the end of October, first week of November, and then that heat wave came in.
Yeah.
I mean, it was crazy. I was seeing $9-10 every hunt. You know, there was one hunt I seen 30-something deer in a set, and they were going from north to south, so I knew they weren't the same deer.
Mm-hmm.
You know, especially like you don't know if a group of does come from the north and they go south, and you have another group come from the south
Right.
going north. But these were all coming from one direction, going in one way. You know, so it's one of those things that, man, when you get those fronts, they move.
Yeah.
You know, so you got to be out there. It don't really matter what the moon is doing.
Right.
You know, but I still, until Halloween weekend, you know, around that area, Halloween, I won't hunt mornings. You know, of course, most time I work days, so I can't really hunt a morning anyway. But even on the weekends, I wouldn't go in and hunt a morning.
So when do you pick your mornings up?
Usually about Halloween, you know, the 30th, 31st. I did, yeah, but you know.
Doing.
But no, it's usually around the 1st of November. You know, definitely. You know, now if I'm off that last week of October, I might pick up a few, especially if you get a cold front come in that last week.
Yeah, and I know the cold front was great, and then like you said, that warm front came in, and then for a couple weeks it was just super freaking windy.
Yeah.
I mean, it was insane.
But you know what about that wind? Because there was 2 days at least that I remember.
There's more
And
than that.
they were on Sundays.
Yes.
Sundays and
Because
Tuesdays. They
Cohen-
sure were.
Because Cohen wouldn't have been able to go hunting.
You're right. And I could have went hunting both of those days. One was on our deer camp. The other one, gun season.
It was the opening Sunday of firearm.
Yeah,
That's
okay.
right. Yeah,
Yep.
because both of you got, or Ashley killed, you
That
killed
10-pointer.
Saturday. And I was going to go Sunday.
You took your sister out, then you called it quits because her.
Well,
and-
no, that was still bow season when I took her. But the Sunday I was going to go, the opening weekend of gun
Mhm, yeah.
was super windy. I mean, it was probably one of the worst winds we've had in a long time.
Right. Well, but where I'm getting at with that is I didn't go because of the wind. Mine was a safety deal.
Yeah.
You know, you sit in a tree,
Right.
limbs. But in the back of my head too, I'm like, oh, I'm not going to see nothing. It's too windy. You know, they're going to be bedded down or, you know, moving very little.
Yeah.
But every time I got online on Facebook or talked to somebody, they were shooting something those days. Like
Right,
those were
yeah.
hot days, and it's mind blowing, kind of.
Yeah. What's your take on the wind?
Well, you know, I generally don't like a real strong wind. I like a 10 mile an hour, you know, a constant wind.
Yeah.
You know, the bad thing is the days that, especially the day I was on that buck and I went in to hunt him that first time, it was probably 5-6 mile an hour. And every now and then it would just stop. And then when it would stop, when it would pick back up, it would swirl. And I mean, that's when, you know, you're going to get picked off more than
Right.
anything. I mean, it's
Right.
just the way it is. And there's no foolproof way, you know, to really get in and hunt any wind, you know, pretty much, because there's always going to, unless it's a steady,
Yeah.
you know, sometimes a steady wind, you're going to get a true wind. You know, I've been leave my house and it says northwest, and I get over to where I hunt, and it's north or even sometimes northeast.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
And it's aggravating because, you know, you plan on going to a stand and then you get over there, it's like, well, I can't go to that stand.
Right.
You know, it's
So-
you just got to be able to, you know, make changes on the fly. You don't want to just go in and ruin one of your best spots. You know?
Right. Absolutely.
So if someone came up to you and said, describe your best stand location, like if you had to pick, if you had a woods, it was either deep timber, by a field edge, creek, river, whatever, you know, if someone said, okay, if you had to describe your best stand location, which area would you consider?
We want coordinates.
Right. Right. The best spots I got, I shot the net booner, and then 2 years later I shot a gross boon out of the same spot, and it's basically a 5-acre thicket. Almost looks like a cow pasture that they basically took the cows out, and it's just grown up grass. And for some reason they really like that bedding area. And this year there wasn't one in there. The year after I shot the net boon, I shot a buck in there on the south side of the farm that I misjudged. He ended up being a 140s 9-pointer. And that would have probably been my shooter in that farm this year.
Mm-hmm.
And then last year there was a buck killed across the road. A friend of mine, her son killed it, and it probably would have been one of the shooters there this year. You know, there were several 3.5-year-olds running around, you know, that 125 to 135 range.
Mm-hmm.
We had pictures of a big 9 down the road from there on one farm that we hunt that always transitioned to another farm that we can't hunt. And then the year before, he showed up for 2 days on this farm. And then this year, he was on the farm for 2 days. One time was 8 o'clock in the morning, which he would have been probably killable.
Mm-hmm.
The next time was like 2 o'clock in the morning. So
I really like how you keep referencing these deer by like the estimated point value. And I like that because I've seen the last 2 weeks on social media, like Indiana Rut Report, big bucks for any, whatever. A lot of people are posting the pictures of their buck and like, what do you guys think this is?
Oh, yeah,
Like,
I know. I don't know what it is with that. It's a big
And-
competition now, you know.
Yeah, and I saw somebody post started replying with a comment, and he actually put like a PDF of the score sheet. He
I've
goes,
seen that.
it even has
I did see
instructions.
that.
Right.
Yep. Yep. And I've scored. As a matter of fact, the funny thing is, I actually bought the raculator this off season, and I was going to start measuring, my deer and stuff. And of course, I get home with mine, and I'm out there with a friggin', cloth measuring tape. Measuring.
right.
Yeah.
And I got a raculator in my
What do you
basement.
think about that raculator thing?
I haven't, like I said, I haven't even used it
Really?
yet. Yeah. I mean, it's
I've heard a lot of people dogging on them. I've never used one,
Right.
nor had a reason to, because I haven't killed anything that big to even want to measure.
I don't know. You got like you got like a booner mouse over here, don't you?
I mean, it's at least a rule. What? I'm gonna say like 2-inch tail.
Oh, yeah, at
yeah.
least a 2-inch tail. And the thing about it is, I don't know if he bought a tag for that.
Oh,
Yeah.
You could say that mouse was poached. He's getting a full body mount. And this is the mouse that
That's gonna be
I mean, what,
expensive. Almost-
three cotton balls?
I
Yeah.
mean, hey, I don't know. They're gonna have a hell of a time creating the mold for that thing, too. I need to get him field dressed.
yeah.
But this
Hanging
is
him up in the garage up here.
yeah, dude. Loins. But this is the mouse we've been talking about. It's been a little prick here lately. I got tired of his shit because
Well, okay, go ahead.
no, go ahead. I
No,
insist.
you were talking about the one he found, but go.
Oh, we got another. Yeah,
Yeah.
we'll hit that in just a second. But
He's got a pretty good bedding area over here.
Yeah. All the
Well,
junk in the
yeah.
garage.
I'm just
The wind's perfect right now.
I'm
If he
waiting
would just hang a stand over here by the trash can,
yeah,
he'd get him.
I'm waiting for a cold front. Okay, about to run the scent crusher closet. Get ready for him. Dude. I'm gonna hit him Tuesday morning.
Are you going? Wait, here. Are you taking the muzzleloader or the bow? Though?
Well, I think I'm gonna have to take the muzzleloader this time.
The thing is, are you going with American or Parmesan, Swiss, pepper jack cheese?
I'm a provolone guy.
Provolone, all right.
Provolone guy. But no, this is the same mouse that was under my chair one episode
Yeah, I was
recorded.
talking, and he just suicide ran underneath your
Yeah,
chair.
dude. And then Seth and I, after you left early one night, you're like, okay, gotta go by. I'm like, okay. So we were like bullshitting here, and he's like, oh, there's a mouse. And fucking dude ran right between my legs, and I got tired of it. And I was like, you know what? This mouse is history. So I went, got a mouse trap, and actually we had burgers that night. So I broke a couple pieces of burger off and put it in the mouse trap, set it. That's all she wrote.
So he's
Didn't
a
go 20.
So he was a carnivore.
Yeah, he's a savage.
Dang.
He was the reason the other mouse isn't in here now is because he was afraid Stuart Little's gonna eat him. Probably.
That's
Probably.
true. Yeah.
That guy's a savage.
Well, he was jacked, dude. Because, okay, first things first.
I love how we're talking about this mouse.
I know. I put a piece of because we had steak one night. We had it. Okay, I think it was when Jeremy was here. We had steak, so I had a little piece of steak I put on the mousetrap. Okay, he somehow Houdini'd himself and got the steak off the mousetrap, and it didn't go off. So I'm like, I got you. So I got one's got a little trap door on it.
Mhm.
So I put the pieces of burger in the trap door and then closed it. So he's got to lift it up, and once he lifts it, it's all she wrote. You know. And as you can tell, he.
So what are you gonna do? Are you gonna fry him up? You gonna quarter him out?
well,
I think you should quarter him out and pack him out.
Well, we're gonna have to see.
Pretty big.
Yeah, I might need you guys' help. You know,
Get the 4-wheeler.
got a lot of terrain to get through to get the mouse.
Some fine utensils.
Yeah, but I'm gonna cut the tenderloins out of him, fry him up, dude.
Nice.
nice bite size.
That'll be next week's dinner. Mouse loins.
So Sean, I do have one more question about
About
Kinda-
loins of a mouse?
yeah, no, but like I guess an area you prefer. So I guess this is not really area. Do you like bigger woods or smaller woods? Like if you had a tract of 10 to 15 acres or a tract of 400 acres, which one would you want?
Well, we do have a farm down, we hunt Sullivan County, Vigo County. I live in Greene County. So, but I found that it's a lot tougher on them bigger woods to actually figure out where a deer might be bedding.
Yep.
The year I shot the big one, I thought he was bedding in this 15-acre wood chunk, and I ended up finding, I had trail cam pictures that I would check. A camera was right by my stand. When I went in there to hunt him with the right wind, I'd pull that card. And there was a couple times it was just like 20 minutes after shooting time, I was getting this picture. Just that week, in general. Then it got real hot, and I hunted him and just wasn't seeing him. So I ended up going to another section and putting a camera out, and I got a picture of him. And I actually took my dad on that deer, and there was the funny thing, there was a 135-inch 8-pointer running around that I was going to shoot when my dad was there with me, and I was going to put my dad on this, this big buck. So Dad sat over by the camera, and I set the field edge over where this other buck I got pictures of, and that other buck come out, 135-inch 8-pointer, and he walks right by me at 20 yards, and I watch him, and then like 10 minutes later, he comes back by about 12 yards. And I said, I cannot shoot that deer with that other buck running around.
Mm-hmm.
And so I let him go. And that was on a Sunday. The following Friday, Wednesday, I seen the deer I shot, but he was a little far out. And then he come back out on Friday, the day I shot him. I ended up shooting him about 37 yards. And, but the funny thing is that 8-pointer that I passed was actually the gross 176 I shot last year.
Really?
Yep.
That's nice.
That talks about passing deer,
You're right.
I mean,
right.
that's
well, and the reason I asked that question is like especially rabbit hunting, because like rabbit hunting, rabbits like the thick little areas. They don't like the big timber. You know, they want something thick from coyotes and stuff. But I've noticed like field edges, like fence rows. You always, I don't know how many times we'll be hunting a fence row, and you'll bump a huge deer out.
Oh yeah, it happens a lot. That's the bad thing, because I used to walk in a lot of tree rows, and especially during the rut, it seems like I was always bumping a nice buck with a doe bedded in that tree row. So I started, trying to change my game plan, kind of slipping in through the actual middle of the field where they wouldn't, depending on where I wouldn't walk by that cover.
Right.
And it seems like it's helped,
Right.
somewhat. But there again, if you're hunting a 5-acre piece of cover versus 200 acres of woods, it's a little easier to find that deer, but it's a lot easier to screw it up.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of times when you see those deer out in those places, it's because somebody's already pushed them out of that 200, 300 acres of woods, because it's hard to find a place that's not getting hunted anymore.
Right.
It really is.
Yeah. And that's something we talked about this when we took our first break, but there's a property that I got permission on, and it's like 15 acres. And the guy before me said there's some big bucks that walk it. And I have permission now that has roughly like 400 acres. That's what we hunt. And there's big deer on there, but it's so hard to hunt them because it's such a big area.
right.
They can go wherever.
Right.
And I don't know. I've just kind of been watching that here lately. Like, okay, do I want to try to hunt these smaller areas? Yeah, like you're right. If you screw it up, it's easier to you're done.
Right.
But at the same time, like I've just noticed there's a lot of people that I've talked to, or what I've noticed is when you look at a spot, you're like, oh, there's no deer there, because it's like maybe 4 or 5 acres of woods. Like, oh, when people look at woods, they look at, oh my gosh, there's 30 acres of nothing but timber.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where everybody thinks there's deer there, which there probably is. But people overlook the small plots of land and like, there's not going to be deer there.
Why?
And there's actually holding pretty big deer.
I think it's got a lot to do with where the deer feel safe at.
Right.
If you've got 10 or 15 acres that you don't touch, and that creates kind of a sanctuary of deer. And I know that's kind of what you touched on with here. You're kind of looking at the map and everything, and you're like, see if you can hunt this, this, and this to make this your sanctuary for the deer. So I think that's got a lot to do with, intrusion,
right.
Putting your scent all over Hell's Creation, stuff like that.
Yeah. And just from the people I've talked to throughout the years, everybody, when I talk to them, like, hey, I'm not really where you hunt, but what's the layout kind of like of your hunting area? And they're like, oh, I've got 100 acres of timber. It's always a big plot. Or when you talk to somebody, it's like, hey, you got a hunting area this year. Yeah. Oh no, but I'm looking for a big spot where I can go. Everybody's looking for that big area, that 150 acres. You don't ever hear, not very often, you don't hear a guy like, oh yeah, I'm looking at this 10 acres over here.
Right.
And I think those big bucks kind of know this. It's like, dude, no one hunts them.
Right. Yeah.
All about that pressure talk last week.
And like the fence row deal, a buck can go right on a fence row and he can see 360. He can smell and see 360. Nothing's going to sneak up on him.
Right.
He's going to see it.
Right.
So it's one of those things I've been kind of keeping my eye on, like maybe the small plots or something.
Yeah.
Maybe there's something to it.
And one thing I'm having trouble with here is, I mean, Seth and Tanner, as well, this woods I got here is thick. I mean, it's stupid thick. In summertime, you can't walk through it unless you got a machete and a freaking chainsaw. I mean, it's tough. And I don't necessarily want to play it off as a bad thing, but it's kind of hard to be able to get somewhere like a stand to hang somewhere without going and cutting down freaking 3 acres of little saplings, for bow season. Gun, not too crazy worried about. Granted, I'm not going to shoot through 5 trees to try to kill something. Ain't going to happen. But with bow especially, man, I mean, just a twig, a lone twig somewhere could throw your shot just freaking left field somewhere.
Right.
So that's kind of a trouble that I'm having here, is finding a good spot that's clear enough I don't have to jack with it too much and still be able to hold that sanctuary here for the deer. So,
and that's the thing about hunting that makes hunting to me. Obviously deer love thick.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's say you want to put a stand there. Cool. But now you got to think, how are you going to get in there?
And that's another thing. My access to my stand.
Right.
Granted, when that house down there was vacant, wasn't a big deal. I didn't really have to worry too much about it, because we got a great stand location, I think, there until these people moved in. And I mean, they're basically essentially putting pressure out there. They're always out there doing work, this, that, and the other. So one, my access is gone. Two, that stand's kind of shot because every time I'm in it, there's somebody out there. So I'm just gonna have to readjust. And I mean, I got a lot here that I'm able to hunt. I've got 15 acres, but I've got a shitload around me that I'm able to. So next season, like obviously, I'm kind of shafted for this season as far as doing a whole new setup. It's getting a little late in the game.
Right.
Granted, I can do hang and bang with a climber, not a big deal. But next season, I'm really gonna have to get cameras out where I'm gonna need to hunt.
Right.
And just try to get my inventory, see what's going on, and get stand placement good.
That's something I'm going to do this year. The woods I hunt now, I've scouted it enough. I've kind of know where the safe spots are, where they're hanging out, stuff like that. But I found when there's snow on the ground in the wintertime, that's the best time to scout because you can visually see the tracks. Like it's just wore down.
Right.
And wintertime, it's still kind of their fall patterns in a way. You know what I'm saying? And they've been pressured from archery to bow, or archery to gun. Sorry, archery to bow. Yeah, archery to gun.
A crossbow.
Yeah. So wherever they're traveling to me in the wintertime or wherever they're at the most, that's their safe spot because they're just coming off being pressured, so they're still going to be in their safe spot till
that same mindset.
Yeah, that same mind spot. So. I do a lot of scouting when there's snow on the ground or like wintertime where you can kind of see better. And then where was I getting at with that?
We don't know.
Snow tracks.
And then wintertime and snow, but then like Onyx maps. And I'm not trying to do like shout out nothing, but I like getting on there because you can look visually at your property.
Oh yeah, it gives you really good aerial view, almost Google Map like. You can drop pins on where you're seeing trends. You can
so
label them.
You walk through it. Yeah, you walk through it and you can pin. Okay, this is a visual bedding area.
Yeah,
food source. Okay, just from hunting it maybe years past. Okay, we've had good luck here in the early season, late season. So you can do all that, and then you get on X, and then you can see. Okay. This is a thicker area. If I wanted to put a stand here, can I even get to it? Okay, I can't. I don't have a really good access. So where's a boundary around there that I can put a stand and not bust anything in there?
Right.
So, but anyway, we'll hit more on this. After this, we're going to take a pee break. And
thank God I got pee so bad.
Yep. So we'll be back. All right, guys, we are back from our pee break. That was a good one.
It was.
Yes.
Well needed.
Felt nice.
Huh?
Felt nice.
It was nice.
You ever watch Beer Fest where they go and like after they've been drinking, they're peeing, they're like, oh
yeah.
So Tanner, what do you got deer number for us?
So deer number, 108,242, 108,242. Just kind of looking back at previous years, that record-breaking 2015 year, we're only 1,000 behind them right at this point in time. After opening firearm, we're 6,000. So we've made up a lot of gap in this later part of firearm season going in muzzleloader. So definitely something to look forward to. We got 3.5 more weeks left. Are we going to hit the 120? We'll see.
I'm going to try to hit the 1.
Yeah. We'll let Cohen be that one, that 119,999 deer.
Yeah, see if I can break it.
One.
I know the world's counting on me, dude. That's terrifying.
So are we 1,000 behind today?
Yeah.
Or
with
period?
That 2000 this time, December 7th or whatever today is in 2015 compared to December 7th, whatever 2020, right? We're pretty much it's closer to 1,200 behind what they were then. So,
Right.
And that year ended with 122, I think. So,
and was 2015? Is that just the record we've had, or
I refer to it as the record because on their website, the DNR, it only goes back 5 years. I mean, I could do the homework and the research and look back at the last 30 years and get you an exact, but record for the last 5 years.
Gotcha.
Which technically a buck really doesn't live till past 5.
That's true.
Here.
Yeah,
I mean,
true.
it probably could, but not here. I don't
yeah,
see it
dude.
happen.
Too lucky. Yeah.
But my stepdad added one of that number over the weekend, first day of muzzleloader. He was using a 50 caliber Traditions brand. He said the deer was about 40 yards. Put the hammer down on it, only went in 30. So congratulations to him on
and it was his birthday.
And nice little birthday buck.
Yeah.
So
his post cracked me up.
Yeah. And he's a long-time hunter, has killed lots of records and everything, and he is kind of like he left it in the Facebook post like, I'm tired and it's my birthday. Because he's had, he works in construction, really busy year and everything, so whenever he got away, he was able to, and just ups and downs, obviously saw some nice ones, but decided to put this one down and call it a year, I believe. So.
I can literally see him in the tree stand when that deer walked out. He was probably like, yeah, I'm done.
Yeah.
No, but I've been there though. You hunt hard all year.
Yeah.
And a buck walks out in front of you, you're like loins.
Loins.
Sleep in.
Well, it is funny though, because you'll be sitting there with the bow and you watch all these deer walk by you within bow range. But man, you put that gun in your hand, there's just something about it. You know it's starting to get cold.
Yeah.
And do I want to do this every morning?
Yes.
Especially like this year, I had 3 weeks off, and first day of gun season, it's like I'm ready to go back to work, kind of. But
Well, I'm not gonna lie, T-Bone, it was nice to sleep in this weekend for sure.
Yeah. I'm telling you, I got the same issue because I have, honest to God, I know we joke about me not killing a deer. That's great and all. I have let so many deer walk by me this year. Whether it's like a spike or small, like 120s class deer, a lot of does I've kind of let go because I've been looking for that buck. And yeah, I'm at the point now where I've said it before, like spike is in trouble.
Well, we're looking forward to that mount. Don't worry.
Dude, we are. I'll stay true to it.
I really hope you get him because I want to see that.
right. It look good right there above that sign.
That's what I'm saying, dude. Yeah. The taxidermist is going to be like, are you serious right now? Like, hey, can I get a shoulder mount of this guy? Seriously, dude?
Actually, I want a full body mount.
I wonder if you would cut me a discount just for feeling bad for me.
Probably, yeah.
Buddy, see. I can cut the spikes off and just donate you a rack from another buck.
Make me a replica.
Right.
Yeah, dude. Right. We'll see. I mean,
Right.
Still a couple weeks to go,
Yeah, like I said, we're coming down. January 3rd is last day, so
I know.
You need to get out of Co.
I'm telling you.
Every day gets colder.
Dude, that's another thing. I kind of wanted to go this morning, but I was tending to the brisket, so
yes.
But no, I did come out here and it was freezing cold this morning, and I was like, dude, like I'm kind of walking around doing the brisket, so I was and I had the heater going in the garage, so it was kind of warm. I was like, this ain't too bad. I'd walk outside to the grill and I'm like, do I really want to go sit in the tree stand and freeze my ass off?
Well, I was kind of looking at these garage doors. I was thinking, man, if you put a window there, you could almost sit in here and hunt out your driveway.
That's what I'm saying.
You got a wide open shot to that field.
Yeah. It's crossed my mind, definitely, for sure.
I mean, you could pull like a recliner in here.
I had one at one point.
There
You can
go.
sit on the mower. You said you talked about
Dude,
how comfortable
yeah.
it is. You know,
I'll
Right.
be honest. Shout out to Jamie Smith. That mower is the most comfortable damn thing. Jess gets mad at me because during summertime I will mow the grass every Sunday, regardless if it needs cut or not. I'm out there mowing it with my drink in the cup holder because it's got a cup holder on. That's fancy.
Mm-hmm.
It's fantastic.
Dude, you could sit on the mower, shoot a deer, not even get up, drive over to it, throw it on the mower.
That's
and drive
true.
back.
And the mower's orange, right?
It is orange. I'm
So,
set.
Now you're legal.
I'm legal. I mean, I don't even need to wear orange, right? It's a part. It's an entity of me.
Right.
144 square inches.
And the Busch Light cans are orange. I'm set.
Wait,
well,
hold
you
up.
might have to like step off the motor to take the shot because it's
Well,
illegal
that's
to hunt
true.
from a motorized
That is
vehicle,
true.
You know?
That is true.
You
Now, I
gotta
have a-
stay legal.
Now I have a question. You can't hunt off a road, right?
Yeah.
Is there a law that says you can't hunt out of your house?
I don't know.
That's a DNR question, bro.
Well, I don't know because you think about it. Think of it like a blind. Let's just say
Right.
you build a blind.
That's true.
Kind of the same deal, right?
True.
Would you have to put the
You have to put
144 square inches
Yeah.
of orange on your
orange on
house?
all sides. Your wife comes home,
because
he's got
it
this big
is
old.
within 4 foot of the house
That's
or
true.
ground. I mean,
That's
the
true.
house is, so.
That's true.
I
A Fraser comes out. What's up with the
Yeah,
orange?
like, what
Oh,
the
so I
hell?
can deer hunt.
what if I have to pay more in insurance for that?
Probably.
Shoot.
Oh,
But
shoot.
anyways, we're all enjoying our refreshments on these nice koozies.
Yes.
Grisgrow Wildlife Food Plot Services. Shawn, you care to elaborate on this a little bit?
Well, it's something we've been doing for a few years. Basically, I mean, we were putting in our own food plots. You know, we have the tractor, the tiller, the disc. I mean, everything, cultipacker, and there around here there really hadn't been a niche for, you know, guys were doing gardens.
Mhm.
You know, there's a few guys that advertise, you know, garden work and stuff like that. Well, we thought we already got the stuff and we're already putting in, you know, 5 to 10 acres of food plots a year. Why not see if somebody needs it, you know? And we started the company and stuff. And, you know, the first year we put in 10 acres of food plots down in Sullivan County. Plus, you know, on top of what we normally do around our other farms and stuff. But it was, you know, but of course with COVID and stuff like that, this year's been, you know, nobody's really wanting anybody to come around,
Right.
you know, and stuff. So, but we're hoping that, you know, this spring will pick up and definitely pick up some more jobs.
So what's your guys' like travel capacity? How far are you guys willing to go for anybody
I mean, we're
maybe looking into you?
I mean, we're probably talking 50 miles,
Yeah.
you know, and we're based out of, you know, Vigo County and stuff. So that's going to get us, you know, up past Rockville, and,
Right.
you know, even Greencastle area and even all the way down to Benson's almost.
Mhm.
So,
Nice.
you know, and we're probably even willing to travel a little further if the job's a substantial size where, you know, we're going to be down there all day to do it.
Right.
Mhm.
You know, because we're going to have to go look at the farm first, you know, get some soil samples. That's one of the, you know, bad things people leave out when they do food plots and they wonder why they fail.
You're right.
You know,
Yeah.
I mean, the bad thing is you can look at that seed that fell out in the back of the truck and it's growing,
Mhm.
but you throw it on a food plot and it hadn't been, you know, lime dried or whatever.
Right.
It doesn't grow right. Or
Right.
it does come up and the deer just don't use it because the nutrients aren't there that
Mhm.
to make it palatable and, you know, all that. And then where they, you know, really want to eat it.
Yeah.
So,
And I know we'll touch a little more on food plots in the spring, but what's your go-to seed?
I usually don't hunt too much over food plots. Granted, the deer Cameron shot the buck this year plus his doe,
Yeah.
they came out of a, you know, brand really don't really matter, but it was a Whitetail Institute product. It was their Fusion, which is like a clover chicory mix. And I mean, we got about 2 acre field there of it, and it's green like, you know, any green field could be this time of year.
Yeah.
And I like it because it's more of the spring growing and fawn rearing. You know, when they're growing antlers, it's got a lot of protein.
Yeah.
And it's something that's going to sustain, you know, 5-6 years. You ain't got to worry about replanting it. You know, everybody talks about clover seed being so expensive, but it's not a one-time, you know, it's just a one-time planting for
Right.
5 or 6 years. If you
Pays off
upkeep
in the
it.
end.
Yeah, definitely. You know, you go get that bag of seed that's $17 at Rural King. I mean, yeah, it'll grow, but it only lasts 1 year.
Yeah.
You know, you know, if you pay $75 for a bag of good clover, you know, depending on the brand and stuff, it's going to last you 6 years.
Right.
you
And
know.
that's one thing Tanner and I tried 2
It
years.
was 2 years ago. It was
We
an epic
tried
fail.
that throw and grow,
Yeah.
and we threw it and it didn't grow.
Right. It did, but barely. I mean, it was so
It was
bad.
piss poor.
Weeds took over.
Yeah, it was
and-
bad, and we
Well-
didn't know what the hell we were doing.
But that
Right.
throw and grow has weeds. in
Yeah.
it. It's you have like a little clover, but probably 80% is just the weeds,
It was crazy.
grass or something. Yeah.
It didn't work.
Right. Now,
Granted, we kind of
I mean, we saw deer eating on it a couple times.
yeah, but was it because of the attempt to us, or just because it was grass and green and that's what they wanted? I don't know.
Yeah.
But it didn't work. Granted, we were out there with a weed eater trying to like turn the soil over the best we could.
Oh, it was so
It
bad.
didn't work.
so now is there like a square footage that you recommend? Because I've done a food plot before when I first started, and I did, I don't know, it's probably the size of the garage here. What's your garage measure?
40 by 20.
Okay, so I've done an area 40 by 20,
Right.
and as soon as it came up, the deer killed it off. Like
Right. I
They
mean,
didn't mind.
that's the bad thing is, the size definitely and your deer numbers, deer density is going to be a hammer to your food plots, regardless of what you plant. But depending on what you plant too, if it's, you can't really go in there and plant like soybeans and expect
Right.
it to last, especially through season, because they're going to nip it down as soon as it comes up,
Mhm.
and that's where the clover, it rejuvenates. And sometimes when you got a high deer number, they'll actually go in and mow it, keep it mowed for you.
Right.
You don't have to go in and mow it.
Yeah.
But like I said, clover is one of the best all around food plots because we were just down there the last Sunday of firearm season, and we had 11 deer come out in that clover plot, and Cameron shot his first buck out of there, nice 7-pointer, and but there was another buck and a bunch of does and
Mhm.
a lot of button bucks and stuff. So they constantly use it throughout the year. Just depending on weather. If it's real cold, they're not going to use it as much as they would like a grain field or something.
Right.
But
Right.
but yeah, I would, like the little plots are good for your, what they call them like harvest plots or kill plots, stuff
Right.
like that. So it's one of those things you want something that's going to grow. You might even try fencing it, to keep the deer out and stuff, but that's a lot of extra work,
Right.
but
Right.
bigger is always better.
Yep.
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 Texas, bigger.
Always
bigger
bigger in Texas. So you guys got a Facebook and all that other jazz?
Oh yeah, we're on Facebook, Grizz Grow, and everything like that. So it's
And it's GRIZ and then grow.
GROW.
So
Grizz
go
Grow.
follow, like.
Yeah, check them out.
Put 7 food plots in.
Yep.
I'm probably contacting Grizz Grow this year. We'll
On
see.
it, yeah, that's
Yeah.
I'm
Your grandma's would be a good spot.
That's what I'm
that
saying.
field
Yeah, I know. So
where
Putnam
we
County.
failed.
Yeah. Where we failed. Let the pros come in,
Yes.
right.
But yeah, definitely. We talked about that a couple times as far as food plots go, is what the hell we're doing.
Mhm.
So
Which we'll talk more about that spring
yeah,
with
spring.
some turkey hunting.
Yeah,
Ooh.
in between turkey hunting.
And that's the other good thing. You get them clover plots going.
Mhm.
Excellent place to kill a gobbler.
Yeah.
I mean, it's even this time of year. I mean, with the fall, turkey season. I mean, they are out there every day.
We have seen more, like Tanner. We went out to your other property to
mhm.
hunt, and I seen turkey here. Don't get me wrong.
Oh, well, take it one step back.
Yeah.
We hunted this all the time. We hunted this several times over turkey season.
Yeah,
back in the
definitely.
spring. Didn't see a thing.
Nothing.
Didn't hear anything.
Nothing.
No,
We
fast forward.
go out.
It
I
was
think
bow.
we were
It was in the middle
yeah,
of October.
we were going out and we just hung some climbers on opposite sides of a field. It's a giant property, and I sent Tanner a picture of. I mean, there was like 15 turkeys just walking across this field. I'm like, are you
Yeah.
kidding me right now?
Well, then another time we went out there to put a stand up and check cameras. And
Yeah.
we saw them. Like we walked up on them.
Yeah, and they're just like their heads are just 7 foot in the air. Like, what the hell? Looking around,
Look
we
at it.
got 75 eyeballs on us. Like,
Right.
what are these people doing? And the thing about it, it wasn't turkey season at the time. If it was turkey season, they would have been freaking gone.
It's turkey season now.
Well,
Yeah, but
it
we're
wasn't
talking
at the
about
time.
this
was
is
like
probably
Oh.
August.
yeah, it was summer.
timeframe.
Oh,
Yeah,
gotcha,
if it was turkey season and we saw them birds, they would have been like 7 counties over. But it wasn't
Yeah.
turkey season. We come out there to hang us some cameras and some stands, and they just perked their little heads up and just like standing in the middle of this field. There's like 20 of them staring at us.
Right.
I'm like, you gotta be shitting
Well,
me.
but you got to think too, like this time of year, the turkeys group up. So that's when you do see turkeys, you're going to see a bunch.
Yeah,
But once spring hits, they kind of they filter out.
Right.
For a bird with a brain the size of a pea, they are pretty smart sometimes.
They are.
Dude, their
Definitely.
eyesight.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
some-
that turkey will piss me off. Dude, I'm telling you.
I've been fortunate. I can tag out on turkey every year so far. So
I think I've said this before. Never killed one.
we'll have to get you.
We're gonna get you one this year, buddy.
Never, dude. Not because of lack of trying either. I
Right.
mean,
They're different.
I know we're kind of getting off topic of deer season, but I'm gonna throw this in there. This past turkey season, I don't know if I've touched on this or not yet, but I'll go ahead and say it. I was sitting in my woods and I had permission to hunt the adjacent property to me as well.
Are you talking about the Bobcat story?
No.
I was gonna say we heard that 3 times.
No, but we do. I do want to hear your Bobcat story, Sean. We'll get to that after this stupid turkey talk here. So I was kind of sitting there and I called a little bit and it was quiet. Didn't hear nothing. And then it was like an hour later, I hear a gobble. And he sounded like he's probably 200 yards away. So I just hit the slate call real slight, and I heard him hammering again. And he just kept on and kept on. Well, I was like, I'm shutting up. So that's what I did. And he was just hammering. Well, where he stopped at was on the edge of the field. And I was probably 40, 50 yards into the field or into the woods. So he's walking back and forth, just gobbling his freaking head off. So I'm like, well, I don't think he's coming in. Well, then I had a hen come in to the woods and she's just clucking her freaking face off. Finally she pisses off to the side somewhere and he's still just back and forth, just hammering. So once she was gone, I decided it's kind of getting a little bit dark. So I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna go after this bird. So
That never happens.
no, dude. And it almost did. It almost did. Hear me out here. So I'm literally, like I said, I'm like 50 yards from the edge of this field. I am on my stomach, low crawling all the way to the corner of this field. I needed like 10 more yards to where I could get a shot off on this bird. And he's probably, I don't know, 20 yards in the field, still walking back and forth, just hammering, all puffed up, like, freaking Bannycock rooster out there, And all of a sudden, I hear like gravel, kind of like a car driving, and he just takes off running the opposite way of me. I'm so pissed because I just spent like 30 minutes crawling. Okay. Jessica texts me, there's a turkey in the field. I just pulled in the driveway.
Oh.
Dude. I was so pissed off. And it wasn't, she didn't know. She was
Right.
coming home from work. I was so pissed off. I just crawled all that way, and that bird just, legs going as fast as they could, just
Yep.
right across the field on the other side. So I come like storming back to the house all pissed off. And she's like, what's wrong? And I'm like, it's nothing you did. It's not your fault.
Just give me a beer and leave me alone.
But I almost had that bird, and when you pulled the driveway, it scared him off. She felt so bad. And then every day when she came home from that, she's like, I'm about to pull in. Can I pull in the driveway?
I'm parked on the road. Is it safe?
You know,
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, that's all I got.
No, that's the thing I've learned with turkeys is you can close the distance, but you can't stalk them.
Oh God, no.
I hear people like there's people that just get into turkey hunting or have never killed a turkey. Like, man, I heard this turkey and I went up to stalk him and get like, it ain't gonna happen.
They're the smartest dumb bird.
I've heard of people doing it. A guy I work with at my department, he's a big turkey hunter, and he believes in. he doesn't sit still. I don't think once he hits a wood, and if he gets a gobbler on, he'll get a direction and he'll start the stalk. And he's killed some.
No,
on that. So it's all about. But he's smart about it.
Right.
Obviously he's
Right.
on the opposite side of the ridge line. He's using cover and concealment the best he can. But he's had luck. And
Right.
my stepdad's done a couple turkey hunts where he was right behind the guide, and I think the guide had the fan. And it's not necessarily stalking, but yeah, they close that distance, and he's like, shoot, and he did and dropped them.
And because I have what's it called? The turkey fan. It's like an umbrella
Mhm.
kind of deal.
I have one.
Yeah. I used it once. It didn't work.
It didn't work for me either. Definitely a gimmick there.
You're right. And
Now-
I think it's like down south where they're freaking loaded with turkey. It might work. I've seen videos of people walking 5 yards from them,
yeah.
but we're our area. We'll get out there in the morning. Like we're getting into turkey hunting, but we'll get out in the morning and we'll get them on roost, and then we'll get as close as we can using dark and cover as our friend,
Mm-hmm.
and then do a little calling. They either come or they don't. And now we'll close the distance and try to cut them off. But as far as, there's a turkey there, I'm going to try to get closer and into shooting range. Ain't going to do it.
Right. Real quick, I'll touch on this and we'll get off of turkey hunting.
Oh yeah, I want to hear this bobcat story.
Yeah, for sure. I had one instance where I almost made a successful stalk on a bird this year. I decided I was going to hunt because I had a blind set up on the edge of a field where they were coming across, and I hadn't been seeing nothing, and I actually didn't even have decoys at the time. Okay, I ordered them, and they were on back order, so I'm like, shit. So I'm waiting for them to get here, so I'm like, you know what? I think this is where they're at because I didn't even know, being I was new to the property. Like, I'm going to switch it up and go over here. So I did that. I didn't hunt where I had the blind at, and I sat there for a while and I was calling, didn't hear nothing. So I decided I was in the woods, and I decided I was going to walk out to the field edge and just kind of take a peek. Well, I did. And sure enough, there is a tom standing 20 yards in front of my blind. I'm like, son of a bitch. So the way it worked was I could kind of cut back through the woods and come back towards the house, because he was in the field,
Right.
Giant field back behind here. So I could come, and I was going to try to come up the edge of the field, get into the woods, and try to sneak as close as I could to this bird and be able to crack a shot at him, being, he was 20 yards in front of my blind. So I'm already pissed off. So, and then I was lucky enough, I took it slow and I did what I could, and I got probably 50 yards from him. And I'd actually shot at one the week prior. Why I shot at him, I don't know. I don't know if I told you this or not. I think I was actually gone from where we worked at, but I saw this bird come out, and I'm looking at him, and I'm like, dude, that guy's like 40 yards. I got him. So I had a rangefinder, and why I didn't just shoot a range him, I don't know. So I'm boom. He just he didn't run off. He didn't fly away. He just stood there looking around, and I'm like, what the hell? And then he was with the hen, and they just kind of trot off a little bit. So I range it, and it was like 90 yards. I was like, what the
90 yards.
Yeah. I'm like, what am I
Well,
doing?
he's not telling you he's using a super modified, super duper choke.
Yeah, dude. This
Extra,
super
super
yeah,
duper modified.
Yeah, it's like a
extra.
needle point. The end of the barrel's like a needle point. Yeah, dude.
So that's why he took a 90-yard shot.
And
bro.
I seriously sat there like, I am such a dumbass. That was one of the worst decisions I made in my life.
Can you say educated?
Yeah.
Yes,
I'm like,
you'll never do that again.
hell no.
No, I'm not saying him. Or no, I'm not saying you, him.
Oh,
The bird,
I'm
oh yeah,
saying both.
he's like,
I'm saying both.
the bird's like, yeah, dumbass, not coming back here again. Yeah.
So Shawn, Bobcat, let's hear it.
Hang on, I'm not done.
Dude, you're taking forever.
I'm sorry, it's part of it. Okay, that's great. So, anywho, I make this little stalk on this bird, and he's like 50 yards from me. I'm like, I just need to just a little bit more. Come on. And of course, he didn't see me, but he just stops, and he's just standing there clucking at the ground, eating around, and he just turns around and goes away. So I almost had a successful stalk. Just needed a little bit more, and he wasn't willing to give it to me.
I didn't know we were still talking about that.
Yeah. Well,
Like, Cohen, you're one of my boys. I love you, but you tell stories like my mom. Just get to the point, please.
and trust me, I have turkey stories to the ceiling, which we'll get to in turkey season. We got to keep the listeners listening.
I don't know. We've been talking about it for 20 minutes
Right.
now.
Right.
You know
19
what?
from Cohen.
You know what? I'm calling Hope, and she's gonna slap the shit out of you.
Oh,
tomorrow.
she knows. I tell her all the time, like, okay, you're telling me facts I don't need to know. Just tell me what time I need to be over for dinner.
All right, but before we get into our last segment, we're at 25 minutes. Might as well do one more break. Get the last little pee out of us.
That way we can go on uninterrupted.
Jeez,
Yep.
you make our bladder sound so small, dude.
Well, it is when I get drinking. We'll go shake the dew
We're
off
like
our lizards.
6-year-olds over here.
Yeah. Sean's never coming back.
Yeah.
We'll be right back, folks.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the last segment of tonight's episode of Hoosier Backcountry. Shawn, that was very anticlimactic, Seth. I thought it was gonna be a little bit better. Anyways, Shawn, we've been trying to talk about this bobcat story, Cohen, turkey hunting.
Right. Kind of got off topic
Yeah.
a little bit. Yeah.
That was a big rabbit hole. Anyways, let's hear
Literally.
this story.
Well, last year when I was hunting the one farm that's pretty small and cover and everything, I was sitting in the corner of a standing cornfield, and I knew this buck was using the area and everything, and I hadn't seen him on the south end of the farm, so I just kind of assumed he was up there. I had a real good wind direction, so I went and sat And I was sitting there, and all of a sudden I seen some deer coming out in this little drain about 50 yards from me, but all I could catch was like pieces of deer here and there, like a leg here or a antler there. So I wasn't sure what deer it was and stuff. And there was probably about 6 or 7 deer popped out there in the standing corn. And I got to watching, and all of a sudden this deer kind of looked my way, and man, you would have thought he was staring right through me. I mean, I thought he had me pegged, and at like 50 yards. And he started coming my way. I had the wind, the wind was blowing directly away from him, and he was coming down the edge. And I'm sitting there watching him. I mean, he's just taking a couple steps, and he's looking around, staring at me. And he kind of turns a little bit, looking into the standing corn, and he'd take a couple more steps, and it probably took him a half hour to go maybe 20 yards, and now he's about 30 yards, and I could see which deer he was. He was my, the target deer I was after. And he gets down there about, keeps coming, and he gets about 20 yards from me. And then all of a sudden, he looks over to his right, which would be my left, and there's this bobcat walking like 8 foot from me on the ground, and just, walks right in front of me. And he just kind of walks right towards it, to see where it goes into the thicket. And when he does that, he just opens himself up just to be shot, about, I think it was about 12 yards. So he ended up grossing about 176. And like I said, he was watching that bobcat the whole time, and I thought he was looking holes right through me.
Uh-huh.
I was so shook up, and everything. But
for once, a bobcat helped.
Right.
Yeah. I wish I could get that. You're lucky,
Have you had a lot of them on camera this year?
About every farm we have them on. I haven't seen one this year from the stand. One of the guys has, we got one stand there that usually you'll see 2 from. That's not one stand that I normally hunt.
Yeah.
He hunted one of our north stands, and he's seen one day, got a video of it and everything. But usually every one of my cameras will have one on it.
It's ridiculous.
Didn't you have one like run on your lap or something?
Yeah, we've already.
I think that was turkey,
Right, bro.
Wasn't that turkey season or something?
Yeah. You guys want to talk about turkey season? So this one time,
I don't know if you guys heard this story or not.
yeah, if you didn't, I'll tell it again. I mean, maybe they missed the episode.
Oh, I'm sure they didn't.
What?
Sure they
Which
didn't.
one? Which episode did they miss?
All of them.
but they have, the bobcats are really getting plentiful and stuff. I think I seen my first one in around 2008. So that's been 12 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, it's just increased. I see us having a season on them before long. Illinois went to a season where you shoot one over there now.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah,
it'd be pretty cool. I mean, I think if they do open one up here, and I'm sure I could probably kill one here, it wouldn't be that difficult. That's one thing I don't want to see all the time is a bobcat. Listen, all right, I got my first kill
It probably
of the
won't
year.
be that difficult. But wait, deer tag.
Hey, there's a carcass back behind you there.
Okay. Whatever.
Yeah.
Anyway,
three deer tags, 2 turkey tags. What?
Man, you give this state a lot of money.
Dude, I'm just donating. I'm about done hunting, just straight donating money. That's all I do anyhow.
Yeah, I count on you. Like whenever you get on like camping Indiana or whatever, and you reserve a state park campground, whatever. At the bottom of your transactions, always like, would you like to donate today? I always think like, well, Cohen already donated $70 to them this year for the bundle license, so no thanks.
Yeah, $70 for the bundle, $25 for spring turkey. It's great, dude. I love it.
Bobcat season comes in. That's a $25 tag donated.
Oh yeah, for sure. Got your game bird habitat stamp and all, or the game bird stamp.
Hey,
donated.
Did you catch a fish last year?
I did.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I did.
I can contest to that.
I did. If not, that'd have been what? How much? I don't even know how much fishing licenses are. Like
18 or something, right?
Something like that. Yeah,
14 or 18
something
or
like
something.
yeah. Well, I'd probably donate that too.
I bought one this year. I never hunted on any public. I hunted on all private. So I guess I donated some money
for what?
Fish.
Oh,
you said
you hunted the fish?
That's a sport.
I've had too many beers now. Hunted fish. I fished the fish.
That'd be an awesome channel, though. Next on hunting
I guess
fish.
bow fishing.
Boone and Crockett bass, dude.
Wait, would that be counted as hunting fish as bow fishing? Is that hunting fish?
Well, you gotta have a fishing license to do it. I mean, I think you can have either or actually.
Yeah.
But
Might have to look into that.
I mean,
Hunting fish.
I don't know. You're shooting a projectile into the water, you know?
That might be our next slogan.
What?
Hunting fish. Like didn't go 20. It's
Yeah.
hunting fish.
Hunting fish.
Hunting the old fish.
Good set of gills on him.
So, Cohen,
What's up?
brisket tonight.
Yes.
Delicious.
Thank you.
Yes,
Walk
it
us through
was.
it. Walk us through.
Well, I woke up at a brisk 4 a.m. this
Brisk.
morning. Came outside and I was like, damn, it's cold out here. So I'm surprised I didn't get screamed at this morning when I opened the garage door and it beeped. Pulled the grill outside, pulled the mower outside. I kind of cleaned up in here from last episode because I always wait till the night before we record to clean, typically. You know,
I don't know. I've seen like silverware in here from 2 weeks ago.
that's beside the point.
But I want to. Oh shoot! What was that? Did you hear that?
Yeah, you
I heard it.
hit the mic.
Just from like what we're on our 9th episode. now.
Yeah.
Dude, we have so many beer cans.
I know. And the most functional part of this podcast is definitely the can crusher on the wall there. I mean,
right next to the scent crusher almost.
Yeah. Yeah, that thing's very functional. We got a whole box that's overflowing of beer cans. I mean, it works out pretty good.
Yes, sir.
But back to the brisket. So, like I said, brisk 4 a.m., crawled out of bed, trimmed the brisket, rubbed it down. Good mustard base. I did put mustard on it this time.
There you go.
I bought some Pit Boss Lone Star brisket rub I used. I think it turned out pretty good. And then I threw it on there 225 at like, it was probably 6 o'clock when I finally got it on there. Just let it go all day.
All right.
So I used apple wood pellets. I mean,
With what type of spray?
I used apple juice spray. I did spray it
Oh.
about every hour. I sprayed it down pretty good, so it's nice and moist, and it really was, dude.
It was
moist.
delicious. Yeah.
Moist.
Now, whenever you hit
moist.
that sweat phase, did you wrap it or did you leave it?
I actually did not wrap it. I thought about it, but I actually went because I didn't have any butcher paper at all.
Mm-hmm.
Wasn't planning on killing anything this year, you know.
At least he's honest. At least he's honest.
Didn't need it, you know. But no, I went and I was gonna get some of the pink butcher paper. That's what it was calling for. All they had was just the freezer paper, so I ended up not wrapping it at all. And it seemed like it was staying pretty moist just by spraying it. I mean, it was still dripping quite a bit, so I wasn't too worried about it. I left a little more fat on there than I would have liked to, but I think that played in my favor with the fat melting down into the meat to keep it moist.
Well, you're supposed to leave
dude,
it
I got to
at,
sneeze
what,
bad.
an eighth to a quarter of an inch of
Quarter
fat
of
on
an
it
inch. Yeah, it's quarter of an inch is calling for.
for the bark. But I thought your bark was delicious.
I mean,
Can you stop saying moist?
but it was moist.
It was.
It's driving me nuts.
Good moist meat.
I woke up to a good moist brisk morning.
It was brisky moist. It was a brisket moisty morning. All right.
But no, it was a really good cone.
Yeah,
It was good.
225. I left it on there and it hit 190 and I pulled it off, wrapped it in the freezer paper, and then wrapped the freezer paper in aluminum foil, wrapped it in a towel, put it in the cooler for our first segment and a half, pulled it out, sliced it. I'm a fucking pro.
Yeah.
It was delicious.
I told Tanner because we got this habit going. So every time we do a podcast, Cohen always cooks.
Yep.
So I told Tanner, we need to get on the same
weekly schedule.
That, whenever
We don't want to cook.
like there's a morning we don't want to cook breakfast or lunch or dinner. We just like, hey, let's go make a podcast at Cohen's and make it.
That's the only reason we got guests because they know they're going to get something decent to eat.
Beer.
Well,
and
that's
food.
why I'm here. you know.
Yeah.
Beer and food,
Yeah.
yeah.
Beer and
Sean
food.
said, I don't even want to talk on the podcast. Can I just come eat?
Yeah.
Oh, or is that Bush Light? Yeah, I'll take
Yeah,
that.
dude. Free beer, free food. I mean,
You can't beat it.
you can't. I
I
mean,
mean, I'd do the same thing.
right?
So,
Taking advantage of me.
so Seth, you went hunting this weekend, but not for the whitetail we've been talking about.
Not for the Boone and Crockett's.
Well, I mean, I'm sure if you saw a rabbit with some antlers, you'd
I
probably
mean,
shoot it.
we did run a freaking thick boy.
One thick boy, eh?
Thick boy. Have you guys seen that video? About
No,
the
but
thick
I've heard like everybody says it.
Yeah, it's pretty funny. But
I'll
anyway,
have to look into it.
no,
definitely.
yeah, we went out this morning. I got 2 beagles, Dixie and Mitzi. which it hit me this.
Who the hell named those dogs?
Me? But listen, at first it was my dog Dixie, and my dad had a dog Belle. No big deal. Well, Belle got old and passed away. So then I bought another one.
What do you call Dixie for short?
Nothing. Dix.
Dick Bell?
No. But anyway, so I bought another dog, another beagle. And I was like, what to name her, and why?
Mixie.
I was like, well, let's name her a name that sounds just like Dixie. Mitzi.
You could have literally named her Trixie, but you put...
here's where it screws me. We'll be hunting, and I'll go call for him, like, Dixie, here comes Mitzi. Or I'll be like, Mitzi, here comes Dixie. Like, I didn't think that one through.
Nope.
So, but now, like, I had to work out the kinks because the dogs did good. I mean, we went out, started at 8. Ran rabbits all the way till noon. I'm just nonstop, just going. I think we killed 3. So it was pretty good morning. It's fun. It's just constant shooting and running. You'll kick the dog. You pretty much just walk out. The dogs will go. They'll kick a rabbit up, and rabbits just run a big circle. So you just stand there, spread out, and the dogs will run it right back to you. Now sometimes you get to actually it's called a buck. A male rabbit is called a buck.
Okay,
it's kind of cool. So if it's a buck and an older buck, they don't always run a big circle. They'll do like a figure 8 or, especially if they've been ran before, they get smart. So you'll try to cut it off. Like, oh, he's coming this way. You'll run up this hill and, oh, crap, he went back this way. So you run back over here. And dude, if you're not tired by the end of like a 3-hour hunt, you're doing it wrong.
Have you seen me? I get tired walking from the house to here.
That's why you broke the chair before we started recording.
We're gonna have to post that picture.
That was so bad.
I got a good picture. Yeah, basically, Cohen sits down in this lawn chair. Next thing we know, his butt's touching the ground.
Okay, in my defense, that lawn chair's been outside on the porch in the weather for like 8 months. It was from Walmart. It's $5. I mean, cut me some slack.
All right.
Oh, Jessica said it was because your belly, but
Wow.
I mean, there's this thing called a Planet Fitness.
We don't do that. No, we ain't going there.
Goldman's Sack Gym,
No.
Iron Mike.
I do 12-ounce curls
Walking.
every day.
Walking.
If I walk too far to the tree stand, I'm out of breath, dude. My biggest struggle.
That's why he hasn't killed anything.
Yeah, I know.
He probably had his chances, but he's like, God, I gotta drag this out.
Oh, my-
Exactly. That's why I passed them. It's not because I passed them to too small. I passed them because I'm like, damn, that looks like a big deer. I gotta drag that thing out.
I'm waiting for that spike to come back by so I can just throw him over my shoulder and carry him out.
Exactly, dude.
I ain't dragging out.
That or he gets up in the tree stand.
Yeah, dude.
I gotta move this closer to the house.
Wait, while we're on this, while we're roasting Cohen. So,
And just think, I cooked you assholes food.
yeah. So season came in, right? It was October.
Oh, here we go.
I'm hunting. Like, if I go hunting, I'm hunting.
Hunting?
I don't hunting.
Okay.
I
Just
don't
checking,
get out
dude.
of that tree stand till it's dark. Like, I hunt every second that I possibly can.
Okay.
Because that's just how I do it. I'm hunting, right?
Hunting.
I'm hunting.
Okay.
Actually, it wasn't the first weekend. Yes, it was. No, it wasn't. It wasn't. It was a second weekend.
Yes, Hope.
Huh?
Like I said, you're starting to go down the rabbit trail like my mom. Like nobody cares about what weekend it was.
Okay, it was a weekend. Anyway, I had deer. I had bucks all over me. I actually had one of my hit listers, that big one, come out.
Yeah.
I'm hunting, and it gets dark. I had to get down. I get to the truck, and I was on the 4-wheeler. I was pulling up on top of the hill to get to the truck, and I see headlights. I'm
I
like,
think we've already touched on this, but we'll hit it again.
Yeah, we did because Cohen saw a deer when you were walking out.
yeah,
Blah, blah, blah.
but I wasn't gonna get to that point.
Okay, go on.
But I'm like, oh shit, the DNR's after me or something. I'm like, what the hell? It's Cohen. But I'm like, wait, Cohen went hunting too. At least he said he was going to. I'm like, so how did he beat me here?
Like get out of the woods, drive. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, so he didn't hunt till dark. So I'm like, whatever, So then, like, a weekend or so went by, and Cohen goes hunting in the evening, but he's back to the house before dark. And I'm like, the best time is like 30 minutes before it gets dark.
Exactly.
I'm like, is the guy scared of the dark?
I am terrified, dude.
He's got a lot of demons in him.
Yeah, but no. in my defense, I'm gonna use my number 3 here in just a second. In my defense, the day that I came to your place when you were out in the woods and you're like, "Oh, it's cold in here. It's still light outside." I told you, it was like one of them hunts that everything but me dying went wrong. I get up there, and that was the first time I'd hunted that stand since last season. I haven't been out there yet. I haven't even seen the stand. Hell, it could have been stolen for all I know. I get out there, climb up, and I was clanking around everything, and this, that, and the other kept happening, and I hang my bow up on the bow hanger. Boom! The bow hanger breaks. So I'm already pissed, and by that time, I'm like just so fired up that a booner could have walked out and I probably would have just screamed at it, So yeah, I was just done. And then I pulled up to Seth and we talked, and he's like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "There wasn't a thing in this hunt that went right, so I left. I'm done. Like, fuck deer season."
Well, I'm not talking evenings either, because there was a morning. I think we had a podcast, and Cohen's like, "Yeah, I'm gonna go hunting in the morning." I'm like, "Cool." It was a Tuesday or something. I have to get up by 4:00, be at work at 6. It's dark. I'm at work. I text Cohen. I'm like, "Hey man, good luck. Let me know what you see." I hear nothing.
I was hunting hard.
I'm like, that's what I thought. That's what I thought. I was like, "Oh, he's in him. He has deer on him."
Oh yeah, I got 75 around me.
Oh, frick yeah. I'm like, "Oh, he's gonna kill something." I'm like, I'm waiting. It gets to lunchtime, I'm like, I'm gonna call him. He's surely not hunting at lunchtime. I call him. "Hey, what's up, man?" "Oh, not much. I'm just back at the house." I'm like, "How'd your morning go?" "Well, I didn't get out there till 8.
Yes. Yes.
Dude, they're bedded down by then.
Listen, I'm a hard working man.
At sleeping.
Yeah.
I did have my bow fall not out of the tree, but I was lowering it down. And I had a hoist rope break this year that
Really?
had been weathered and stuff. And luckily, it was only about 10 foot, and I was hunting at the house that night. And so when I got back to the house, I started the truck up, put it on the target, and so I could shoot a couple arrows to make sure it was still good. But
man, that is one thing that scares the shit out of me.
Yes.
When skips a beat.
When I'm either, and it's not even lowering it. It's not when I'm afraid. It's when I'm pulling it up.
Yes.
I'm always afraid that something's gonna break and my bow's just gonna fall to the ground. And
because a couple of our bow ropes, they actually have like the button thing. You have to pull it down, hook it.
Mm-hmm.
But some of them have just like a stick. It's like tied in the middle. And you put it through your cam.
See,
Those make me nervous.
See, I always take like 550 cord I get at Walmart, and I'll buy some cheap carabiners, and I'll tie a carabiner off.
Right.
And then I just put it through the limb of the bow, and then I'll just hook it on itself. So, I mean, it literally can't come off there.
Right.
Yeah.
And we need to do that, but you don't think about it when you're hanging stands.
You don't think about it until you get there.
Right. And so I'm like, I'll just get a stick this long,
Yeah.
tie.
Well, dude, this year, whenever Tanner and I went to his place, I hadn't even touched my climbers yet. Matter of fact, I pulled one off the wall that I had hanging for the year. And I texted him that morning. I'm like, "Dude, do you have like some like 550 cord string or something?" Because I don't have anything, and Walmart being the COVID, it's closed until freaking noon. It opens up at noon. So I'm like, shit out of luck. And he's like, "Yeah, I got something." So yeah, and I actually just like tied a slip knot around my limb of my bow. I was scared shitless pulling that up.
I think it was, I only had like 10 or 15 feet.
Oh, I didn't go very high.
Like you literally said, when you got to the top, like you weren't even paying attention to this, but as soon as you look down and start pulling your bow up, your bow is already starting to lean upwards.
It was.
Have you guys ever been like pulling your bow up and then it gets stuck on?
Dude, that pisses me off
Stuck
so
in a tree
bad.
or one laying there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're like, and here's
down.
my thing, because this is my first year hunting hang-on stands. I've always hunted climbers or ladders, never had a hang-on. So I've never had to deal with the steps, okay? So I get up there and I pull my bow up real quick and I get it hung up and I just throw the rope off, the hoist rope, because I don't give a shit about it at that point. I'm in the tree. I don't care.
Right.
Well, then it never fails. I'll throw it off and then it gets wrapped around the step of the climbing stick, and
Yeah.
I'm like trying to I'm like leaning out of my stand, trying to get it unraveled on there, dude. And that's like kicking my ass this year. So next year, or I should probably do it just in general. The hoist rope is going on the opposite side of my sticks, dude.
Yeah.
Because every time I get in a tree stand now, it's getting wrapped around shit.
Yeah, I
Right.
have to. When I was lowering my crossbow down a couple times this year, as soon as you get to the bottom, you're like, try to like do a
So,
figure 8 to flip it around so you
here's-
don't put it on its scope.
Here's my question: whenever you drop your crossbow down,
Sorry.
is it still cocked?
No.
You don't.
Well, so my first hunt, I made the mistake. I didn't take my
Decocking arrow.
Well, yeah, I call it my dummy arrow. It's an arrow that only has like 2 fletchings still on. Like I tore
Yeah.
one off and everything. So that's the one that, I'm going to discharge it into the ground after the hunt and everything. So the first
Gotcha.
time I didn't do that. I wasn't thinking that
I'd
far
have been
ahead.
scared shitless.
Well, I took the arrow off.
Well,
I'm
still,
not leaving an arrow in it while I'm lowering it pointed at me.
I mean, you got a crossbow. It's
Right.
like
Yeah.
some serious weight.
Oh
on your
yeah,
string.
yeah. No, but no, I put the old, clip on the foot part of it and everything when I'm lowering it and everything. But yeah, as soon as I get, that butt stuck on the ground, I'm like doing a little twist maneuver because I don't want to put it on the scope. I'm like,
Yeah, I do that too whenever it hits the ground because I got the quiver on there. I'll like try to
Try to-
rotate it and
yeah.
flip around and get it to land so it's
Right.
not on the arrows and shit.
I don't know how many times I've lowered my bow down, and then like my nocks will hit the ground and they all light up.
God dang it! See, that's one mistake that I made was I put one day I think I was raising my bow and that's how it happened. But I put it in the nock side. The way I hung it from the top of the bow or attached to the top. So when I pulled it up, I like slipped or something, and all the knocks went into the dirt. And when I pulled it up, every one of my lighted knocks were on. And they all had mud in them. So I'm like, other with my knife, trying to like turn them off and cut them out. So I make it a point now to hang it or to hook it from the bottom of my bow. So when I'm raising or lowering it, it hits the top and just the top of the quiver, so it doesn't,
Yeah, I think it was. It's always the first sit that like kicks your ass.
Oh, dude.
that's yeah.
It's like, oh, I
that's-
forgot
gotta,
this,
Gotta
I
knock the
forgot
rust
that.
off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was raising my bow up, and it got stuck in I call a tree, but it got stuck midway. So like, even if I climbed down, I couldn't reach it.
Yeah.
It was stuck. Like I could let go of the rope, and it was there. I'm like, shit. What do I do? It sounds like a buck rubbing a tree. Just fucking getting it. It's like, up here for 10 minutes. Finally get.
I mean, when I use my climber, I wear my backpack up. So, because I always like Cohen said at the beginning, I dress super light going in the woods because it never fails. You're gonna get all hot and sweaty.
I'm
As
an idiot, I know.
as soon as I get up there, get a comfortable position, that's when I'll take my my sweatshirt, my jacket out of my backpack and everything. So when I pull the bow up, I'll take that clip off the bow and I put it on my backpack, so I have that weightedness down, so I'm not necessarily getting caught on anything going down. So
Right. Have you guys ever been in a deer stand and like you're trying to text with one hand and you have all this stuff on and you drop your phone?
I've never dropped my phone.
Oh,
I have dropped my phone.
Have you?
I haven't done it since I had a BlackBerry phone, so it's been a while. And it actually still worked. I dropped it from probably about 25 feet.
Yep.
And the ground was pretty solid, so I was surprised. It just had a little cracked screen. Of course, back then you didn't have screen protectors or anything on BlackBerry.
It's like back in like 84?
Yeah, you're probably still nursing or something.
Yeah. I dropped.
no, he
mine.
was still swimming then.
Yeah. Well, when I dropped mine, it dropped and there's leaves there, right? I'm like, it was like that last hour where it's magic, it's like, this is where the deer move. I'm like, I'm not climbing down to get it now. So I left it lay there. Guess what happened? Here comes a deer, and then it starts going, and the leaves like a rattlesnake. This deer's like, you know how they do with their head? They're like,
He's jerking
it's
back
like-
and forth, folks.
something like-
They can't see you.
this is where we need video. But I'm like, who keeps calling me? Shut up.
Yeah, dude. I had to crack the whip on old Jess here during season last year because I had a fanny pack that I wore. That it was like early season when it wasn't cold out, so I just wore a sweatshirt and pants. And I had a fanny pack on that had all my shit in it, so I didn't have to take a backpack with me. And I didn't know what I had. I probably had a knife and some other shit in the big pouch of it. I put my phone in there too. And I remember there was some deer in the field, and she was like either texting or calling. I can't remember, but whatever it was, my phone was sitting on. It was like, oh, I'm like, oh my god! And there's a deer in front of me, and deer, whenever they like look your way, like you said earlier, Shawn, you feel like they're staring through your soul.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I don't even want to breathe. And my phone's whoa in my back.
You're just standing there like, oh God, oh God, oh God, oh God.
Yeah, I had that instance a couple times, but
Oh, shoot.
do you guys wear fanny packs?
No. I'm
When you
not
hunt?
getting
The
Is that the
little-
same one you wear at work?
Yeah, dude.
Okay.
Yeah, I do.
No.
my hands warm. Throw a couple
Well,
hot hands in
that's
there.
the hand muff. I love
That's-
that thing
yeah.
I've got. Now,
yes.
I've
Yeah.
got one that I bought actually for her, and she doesn't like to go hunt with me, so I take it. But it's got like a clear, like a plasticky film on it, so you can see your
text?
phone.
Yeah.
I hate it. I keep hiccuping, dude. Because when you look at okay, first and foremost, it's worthless because if it's cold outside and your hands are in there, you open that flap up for the screen thing and it's all fogged up. 1, 2, when it's cold outside, that plastic gets freezing cold. It's your hands against it, and it's like, man, this sucks, dude. It's worthless. I don't buy one.
I bought one for Cameron.
Did you?
'Cause, being a little kid, he
Yeah.
likes to play his
Mhm.
games and stuff
Right.
while we're in the blind.
Yeah.
And same thing, of course, it's either like at a wrong angle or, something. So he can't play his games in there. Of course, we took a couple of hot hands in there, but still he couldn't use it.
Yeah, I bought I think it's like a Hot Shot brand. I think it's what it is, but yeah, it's worthless, dude. I'd rather just have the old school freaking, Sherpa line one that's nice and toasty.
Yeah.
Because I'm not a big glove guy. I don't like wearing gloves too much when I hunt, especially bow hunting.
Yeah.
I
hate
like to be able to
those.
feel that release.
Yep.
So I always try to take one in with me, and even this shitty one I got, just put my little hands in there and try to keep them warm, and got
Right.
the release all cattywampus outside of it,
Yep.
So
Well, we're at 27 minutes.
holy shit.
So
Unfortunately, it means it's time to call it a wrap.
Yep.
So big thank you to Shawn, though. Hey, thanks for coming on, sharing some experiences with us, some stories, and enjoy your window decal.
I appreciate you guys having me.
And also
it's a good
thank you for
time.
the koozies.
Yeah, we got some
No
cool
problem.
koozies out of
yeah.
this.
Yeah.
Even though these two Nimrods learned how to spell koozie the correct way this week,
With a K.
not a C.
Okay, Sabo.
Yeah. Sabo.
Anyways,
I'm gonna
hey,
go buy some Sabos.
like I said, it's French. We all know in history of war, their tanks have 4 gears, 1 forward, 3 backwards.
That's true.
It's a World War
I get
II
it. Yeah,
reference.
I get
Jeez.
it.
I don't get it.
Retreat.
Woo! Going over people's head. Anyways, thanks
Thank-
to everybody for listening then
Yeah.
this week.
And thank you again, Shawn. We'll have you back again.
I appreciate it.
For sure. And as always, stay safe.
And shoot straight.
Hoosier. Back on.